here at the port side. All right, it looks as though all of these animals are gone right now. Just a really not climbing on things on the boat. No reason to be standing on anything other than the deck of the boat. Please, like I said on the way out of the harbor, it really is a safety concern. Kids, remember what I said coming out of the harbor, and the adults for me. Kids have been good so far. Okay, these whales are gone. You've got a chance to look at the tail on at least 3 of the 4 here. Humpback whales are relatively easy animals to work with. Relatively broad in their body proportions. You got a bit of a look. You got a bit of a look at that as these ones off the bow are kind of cutting. They have a relatively thick layer of blubber. Most people think of blubber as insulation. That whale just did 180 degrees. It's also kicking. Even that whale just slammed its tail into the water. Hang on. Okay, we're going to keep these animals on the left or port side of the boat. We're going to make a bit of a loop around here. So we can swing the boat around. But focus your attention, focus your cameras on that patch of green water there. Because most likely, that's where that whale is going to come back up. Right at the surface there. As I mentioned this approach a little bit earlier, basically what brings these animals into local waters is the food that's available to them. Most of it is going to be small schooling fish. And these 2 are whatever they turn out to be. Actually, a part of the tail, maybe not. It's food that brings these animals into local waters, and these animals over here off our port side are feeding right now. Humpbacks are a favorite of whale watchers for a lot of reasons. Not the least is this really kind of peculiar feeding technique that involves getting down beneath the surface of the water and blowing clouds or streamers or rings of air bubbles up through schools of fish. Basically, they're using port side 10 o'clock. Basically, they're using those air bubbles as a tool to help corral the fish together. Once they've done that, they will then get underneath the school of fish and lunge up either diagonally or vertically up through the school of fish. Open up their mouths, take in a big mouthful of water and food, close their mouths, and push the water back out between the baleen plates. We kind of talked about that on the way out of the harbor. And that's what you just saw. What you don't see, though, obviously, is the whole part of the operation that's going on beneath the surface. So we'll just hang tight. They're gone for a few minutes again, whatever, and we'll see where they come up next. Keep your eyes open, though, because just because these whales went down off the bow of the boat does not mean that's where they're going to come back up. So keep your eyes open in different directions. If they do come up in some odd direction, let us know. Don't keep it a secret.
It's a little bit random.
The thing that I started to say about the tails, fairly broad in their body proportions, fairly thick layer of blubber, mostly fat. Enough blubber, enough fat, so that if they stop moving, they literally will float to the surface. The flip side of that coin is when it comes time to dive, they tend to arch their backs up pretty high. Tend to pull their tails up out of the water. 8 o'clock, port side, left side.
There, 2. There. See? Oh, look over there.
A little bit separated, though. One of them's a little closer. The other one you can see starting to kick another set of bubbles. There's a bit of a look at the tail. Most types of whales, by the way, do not pull their tails out of the water. At least not with any regularity. Humpback whales really are one of the few types that will pull their tails out of the water fairly regularly.
Oh, look, it's going around our ship. Oh, look it. Yeah, that's right. It's
Oh yeah, I got some good footage.
As you're watching, you'll notice these animals doing they just popped up again at 10 o'clock. Doing a little bit of moving around here. Not a lot. Okay, the further one kicking out there at 11 o'clock again. Doing a little moving around, take a mouthful or two, move again. Not uncommon when humpback whales are feeding for them to do that. Because they're kind of moving around, they're probably moving through some relatively loosely scattered patches of fish, schooling fish, probably sand eels. But they want to keep moving because when these whales are fully grown, up off the back, you see that whale with its mouth wide open there. And actually, if you look through you can see the baleen hanging down from the upper jaw. Now we're going to get a nice look at this whale coming down the starboard side here. Right side, starboard side. It arcs up real high, pull its tail up, and it looks like that whale might have dropped beneath the surface again. So anyway, so it's important that they have a good feeding season while they're here.
Move your hand.
Okay, back at the surface again, starboard side.
I'm trying to get you in the video, Don.
They have a good feeding season while they're here because by the time these humpback whales are grown in the western North Atlantic Ocean, mid 40 foot, mid to high 40 foot, mid to high 40 ton range, they can easily put down 1,800 to 2,000 pounds of food every day. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but you got to put it in perspective because proportionately it's really not any more than you or I eat per day. They're just bigger animals. Okay, kicking again here off the starboard side. For starters, they're working to sustain themselves daily on that food per day. And as I said, mid to high 40 foot, mid to high 40 ton range. Okay, we're going to stick with the starboard side here for the time being. They're also working to build up that layer of blubber. I mentioned it in regards to insulation. I mentioned it in regards to buoyancy. But probably the most significant
Are you working on that blubber?
Two of them right together again. Actually, that whale's upside down right now. Nice. There we go. They're working to build up that layer of blubber because while they might put down 2,000 pounds of food today, they can just as easily go all day without feeding at all. And back later on in winter months, when they're down in the Caribbean, they're mating in cabins. Oh, nice one there. When they're down in the Caribbean, they're mating in cabins, and they'll go months without feeding. They can turn on the fan all day long. Actually, there's little bubbles back off the stern as well, back off 6 o'clock. Look by the side or back behind the we haven't actually seen any of them at the surface this morning. But most likely are small schooling fish known as the sand eel or sand lance. Average about 6 or 7 inches long, about half an inch tall.
Good one, man.
But what they lack in size, they'll make up for in terms of number. There's about 32,000 of them in a ton, give or take a few. So it's real important that these animals have a good feeding season while they're here. Looks like these three are starting to do a little bit. This is actually 4 o'clock. So they're definitely moving around here. The waters here off of eastern Massachusetts, the southwestern Gulf of Maine, is actually about the southern